Say, man, for those select few that are already initiated, you should already know what's coming next. And for those of you that aren't, just chill. See, what I'm always trying to get everybody to understand is everything is vibration. So, there's vibe. See, you tuned in with the coolest motherfucker in the whole cosmos. Yeah, I claim it. It's only right that I hold myself accountable, and I am that. But I'm gonna take you to the moon today. You see, at some point before we take off, you're gonna realize that you're ready to open up your ear and let it crawl into your mind. One time. After that, you're gonna realize we can either vibe or we can get into some real gangster shit. And I don't think you want that. So I'm for real with this. You know that older brother, that cousin, that friend that's willing to whoop your ass to teach you a lesson. Here I go. Real motherfucking gangster. Real quick, one last time. Watch me. Yeah, man. What it was. Y'all know who it is. If not, I'm right here. I'm here. And y'all tuned in with Priceless Knowledge of Self. And this right here, this ain't nothing but some cosmic insight, man. And I hope everybody feeling good. I hope everybody vibing. Because we on our way to the moon. And we finna talk about it. And in this case, it's a good thing. Because this right here, this is a little something about those people that have the moon in the third house of their natal chart. Yeah. And before we actually go there, if you don't know my style, what I'm going to do first is I'm going to give you a quick breakdown about the moon. I'm going to talk about the moon in the houses. I'm going to talk about, the energy that comes along with it and how it might affect you. Then after that, I'm going to give a quick breakdown about the third house of the astrological chart. Then after that, we're going to bring it to a culmination. So without wasting any more time, let's go ahead and get it cracking. So the moon, the moon, this is your instinctive awareness. This is your emotional nature. This is how you feel. It could represent the relationship that you may have with your mother or the lack thereof. The moon, in Vedic astrology, they say it's the mind, but I just think about it. I think it's all about who you are inside. Okay. Think about it like this. The moon is the closest celestial body in relation to Earth in the whole entire solar system. So it has the strongest effect on our moods and personality on a day-to-day basis. The Earth is 65 to 70% water. The moon controls the Earth's tides. Your body is 65 to 70% fluid. So think about that ratio and think about the effect it probably has on you. Yeah. So when we're talking about the moon in the houses, this can reveal where and how we go about seeking emotional security and satisfaction. And looking at the house position of the moon, we can really find important clues to the reasons behind any perpetual emotional unrest that we might be going, which can really take the forms of constant changes or ups and downs in the area of life that, the moon's in, and or whatever that's ruled by whatever house she's in. Pardon me. I got all really negative. So pardon me. It's in those areas that I also feel like that we should really make deep emotional attachments rather than superficial and temporary emotional thrills if we're really seeking out a true feeling of belonging and emotional fulfillment. And with the moon, that's really what it's always going to be all about. Okay. So when we're talking about the third house is ruled by Mercury and Gemini, and it highly symbolizes our thinking and our communication style and writing, short trips, our younger siblings, and pretty much our whole early childhood environment. That's all the third house's realm. The third house is about how you talk. The third house is about how you think. The third house is about how you write. It's about how you process all of that. Okay. And it also speaks to whatever powers of analysis and discrimination that we all may possess. Okay. And planets in this house really indicate how you communicate and how you operate mentally. So that's a little bit about that. And when we're talking about having the moon in the third house, okay, when I'm thinking about these people, in my opinion, these are probably some of the absolutely most interesting personalities that there are, to be honest, because not only do they have these terrific memories, but they're also extremely both intellectually and emotionally intelligent, for real. And more than anything else, these are the type of people that need self-expression in all kinds of forms, man, because these people, they really derive a lot of emotional satisfaction from their capacity for daydreaming and inquisitive rumination. Okay. And their emotions are pretty capricious too. And they're restless and they're fascinated by a whole boatload of different stuff, for real. And however the moon and, Mercury link up in the chart, man, it's going to be usually, if it's a positive thing going on, some harmonious aspects with this. And in this case, it's just, the moon being in Mercury's house, but those energies are still going to be entwined. That's going to help present someone who's, brain and emotions might be pretty well in tune with each other. But with some negative aspects, like it could represent some real freaking challenges, man. And a lot of the times, with these folks, their ability to deeply concentrate is kind of hindered by this distractible nature, but they should never in their life let anything cause them to start repressing their creative urges with this one, because it can really mess them up in the long run. And, don't let me forget to mention with this one, okay, that these folks, they don't really like routines at all. This ain't Virgo energy. This ain't sixth house Mercury energy. What I'm saying? This is third house Mercury energy. And they're not really with all those routines, man. And they're not with that mundane, man. And I have a Uranus and Neptune in the third house. And on Mondays, they're one of my favorite sayings. I don't know who I heard say it. I think I heard somebody say it on a podcast some years ago. And I've stuck with that phrase ever since. He said, I'm not a fan of Mondays or the mundane. And something about that, I was like, ooh, that play on words. And, I'm a third house person with that, all that energy there. And so I was just like, oh, so these are the same type of people that have that same type of energy. But you can also keep in mind that the sign here is going to really greatly modify this. And, for instance, a Gemini moon is going to only display all these qualities right here exponentially. And for instance, a Capricorn moon, it's going to be a little bit more reserved no matter how it is. And a Capricorn moon is going to be, and a Scorpio moon, both are going to be a little bit private no matter what house they're in, period. So that's definitely something that's worth taking note of and thinking about. And another thing to understand is that off the rip is third house moon people operate much more off a mental plane than an emotional one. Okay. These are the type of people that are curious about life in general. But, especially, you're going to run across a lot of them right here that, have that gift of gab. And so they're going to learn so much stuff because they know how to strike up a conversation with anybody. And they know how to connect with anybody through that gift that they have of, hey, man, I'm going to go up and ask you. I'm going to go up and speak to you, man. And they know how to be cordial. They're going to come up with a smile on their face most of the time, unless there's other things going on in their chart, or like I said, they got this Capricorn moon or this Scorpio moon, or they usually have that scowl no matter what, or that, that RBF that people talk about, So that is what that is, man. But for as much as they need to communicate, I also want to say, and as much as they really do love to talk, it's also in my observations that these people are much more of observers types than somebody who's prone to a lot of emotional outbursts. Okay, because having the moon in the third means that they prefer to see the world much more as a source of information than a source of emotion. Because even if they got a sensitive moon sign like a Cancer moon or a Pisces moon like I have, man, they still have these abilities of their moon to sit back and just extract data from their environment, which is, to me, is pretty interesting, man, because that hunger for information that they have, it can also be a major pitfall here. Understand, this is a double-edged sword because, with that insatiable hunger to learn more, the human mind can really become too heavily saturated with useless facts instead of emotional understanding, which it doesn't always work out so well. Okay, that just doesn't always work out so well. And moving on from that, let me think, this is really another placement where conversation rules the nation, for real. Conversation rules the nation because in their case, emotional nourishment, it ain't too complicated to find or too hard to come by because they just simply need some form of intellectual interaction because with them, feeling heard means feeling loved. It's simple, man. And look, just like the fluctuations and the phases of the moon, these folks here change their mind a lot, y'all. These are those type of people. And plus, they pick up on so much that a lot of them judge the character that they're going to present based on the company that they're with. Okay, because they pick up on the subtleties and then they just kind of adjust. So there are some of these that are those type of people that if you ask 100 people that interact with them what kind of person they are, you'll probably get at least 94 different answers. I mean, I have some aspects to my personality that a lot of people will tell you the same thing about me. So I understand that. And lastly, y'all, people with the moon in the third, man, they often get way too caught up in trying to please everybody around them because the way that everybody else feels around them is going to affect them so much. And like I said, man, they pick up on so much that, they often just catch themselves acting just the way that other people expect them to act a lot of the times, and that's not a good thing. And especially if you want to take this back to childhood, if you go back to a kid and you're always telling the kids that they're bad, like, oh, your ass is bad. Oh, you bad. Oh, you such a little bad kid. What do you think you're doing to their mind? You're manifesting that inside of them. You understand that? So don't do that. You know, I used to have a stepdad that used to always tell me, oh boy, you keep acting like that, you're gonna end up in prison. You know, not only, even before that, one day your mama gonna be gone, boy, and you gonna be sick. One day and he probably knew things about my mother's illness that I didn't know, but still, he told me one day your mama gonna be gone, you gonna be sick, boy, it's gonna change everything. And then he also used to say all the time, boy, you gonna go to prison, boy, you gonna end your ass up in prison. This is when I'm 9 years old. You know what I'm saying? 9 years old, man. And he's a Gemini. But he, 9 years old, he's telling me this type of stuff. And what happened? See? Talking about that bullshit. I'm allergic to bullshit. What happened? I ended up in prison. And is that his fault? No, it's my fault because of my action. But the things that we manifest in our mind when we're young, like, that's a big deal. And right here, this is the same thing, man. Plus, their mind is so full of the external world right here that, sometimes they lose sight of their own needs, which, man. And the crazy thing is, they really react very quickly, but these are also the type of people that are very notorious overthinkers. Okay, so their brain and their emotions just be going in circles like a motherfucker sometimes, okay? But a lot of times, if there's harmonious aspect, it's not. And it doesn't matter because what you do with it is what you do with it, you understand? And that's the beauty in all of it, man. That's the beauty in all of it. And the lesson for me with this one is just for them to, find that delicate balance between being too emotional and being too cerebral as they kind of mature in life. And, that is what it is. And this one also shows that there's probably very strong emotional ties with the siblings, or maybe they have a Cancer sibling or a Gemini sibling with this one. And, and really, they really could have had a really family atmosphere in their neighborhood. Let's think about it like that. Or in this one like this, their brothers and sisters, they're more like their friends also with this one. This is a strong emotional connection here, okay? And or their mom could have been a Gemini. Their mom could have been a Gemini. So let me get this right. They could have had, in my opinion with this, and I could be totally wrong, but I'm not the be all end all anything, but they could have a mother right here that's a Gemini or has a lot of Gemini energy, or is just very talkative and very intelligent, or maybe your mom's all over the place. Or they could have siblings that have strong Cancer energy. So that's interesting how that plays out. And either way, they're going to have strong emotional ties to them. And, if you have this placement and you're feeling unbalanced, with this, the best remedy for y'all is just take a little short car ride or, a couple walks around the block, man. Because for y'all, that's everything. And even if it don't play out like that, just because you built like that, you don't have to build like that. We have all of this energy available to us in our charts. What you do with it is what you do with it. And even beyond that, it's not about what you do. It's about how you do it. And hey, that's some priceless knowledge in itself. It's been some priceless knowledge of self. I appreciate all the love and support, man. Hey, y'all like, share, and subscribe, man. Y'all help me get up to where I'm trying to get, man. Help me realize my dream. I'm trying to remember y'all. Understand? If y'all are interested in the astrological readings whatsoever, you can either hit me up in the comments below, or you can email me at mr.turner1300@gmail.com. And the same thing that if you want to fool me on the merch. But the thing with the merch is, understand, and hey, I don't mind selling it to you, understand, but once you get it, you gotta understand you probably never be as fly as me, because things like that, it's got to be in you and not on you. Okay, and that's true.